What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Cage My IQ / The House. This is my co-promotion for the SummerSlam 2022 recap. I'm joined with me by TK from the Wrestling Index. This guy has the pulse of the wrestling world at his palm. What is going on, TK?
Yo, bro, man, every time I watch that introduction video, I get a little hype, man. You got people knocking people out. You got Gunther on there. Yo, thanks for having me. Excited to talk some Summerslam and ready to talk some wrestling, bro.
Before we get into any of that, we got a few comments. We got the King of Cleveland. Yo, what's going on, King? He comes on and with me and Mo and talks a little wrestling news and then predictions. He said, I made it home. He actually was there at SummerSlam. You know, in Cleveland. How was it? How was it live? Was it any better, any worse? And did you get a good view of the main event, even with the ring tilted up? Let us know your opinions of it. You got Kevin Stewart, what's going on? You got Magnum Mac, what's going on, Mac? Salute, chat, and panel. Thanks for tuning in. And then we also got Kevin chiming in. What an epic main event. Well, we will get to that a little bit later in the show. But of course, as I told you guys before, this is a co-promotion of the recap of SummerSlam. I got Cage by IQ. You can follow and subscribe to me on social media. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube. And then you can also find me and Mo on The House. You can just search us under The House on YouTube. He's getting everything else set away with Twitter and with Instagram. So we'll have that out in time. But check The House out on YouTube, subscribe to it, and check out all the wrestling content that we have on there. We got a few more comments. He said, I love the show and I got okay view. We got the car running with Mac. We got Wang Young chiming in fire. And then we got Cleveland saying Usos versus Mysterio for the titles tonight. And rumors say a huge name is showing up tonight. Ooh, thanks for that little bit of tidbit right there. And then a bunch of dirt sheet guys from the Universal Wrestling Podcast. This guy was busy today. He was supposed to chime in with us today with this, but you know what? We got day jobs to do, so he's saying all out there, but he's in the comment section right there. So thanks for tuning in otherwise. But TK, what was your thoughts on the overall production of SummerSlam on Saturday night?
Yeah, man, I thought the crowd was hot. I loved the ramp. So first of all, that stood out to me, the entrance ramp. I loved how long it was. And it was kind of like an L, so it kind of had a different roundabout about it compared to usual. The crowd was hot, man. It looked like a sold out venue, which was really cool to see. And then I really enjoyed most of the card. I enjoyed the first two matches specifically, and the main event was fucking hot. Everything in between was kind of meh. So I give the card overall, I think it's like a B. I give it about a B, but I thought it was good, man. I thought WWE hasn't done any wrong with premium live events. I've seen some people saying like it was the best SummerSlam of all time, and I'm just like, I don't know if we were watching the same thing. I even went back and watched it a second time, and I felt the same way about it. I loved Logan Paul. I loved Bayley. Obviously, I love Bayley. I love Bayley and Io Sky. I'm fine with Io Sky.
I knew you popped huge for that when they came out.
Bro, I popped so fucking hard, dude. And then when Dakota came out, then when Io came out, but I popped even harder right before that with the handshake. And we'll talk about it. But yeah, I mean, those are little things that stood out to me, man. What about you?
I think the first thing I have to give up is Logan Paul, the performance that he came in, because a lot of people were skeptical of him, but dude, he showed out. He showed out that he can do this. Like, it's going to be once every couple of months that he does it. He can get the training in, do the one match, and then boom. But he showed out exponentially in this match. I thought he did a great job. I thought the tag title match between the Usos and Street Profits kind of fell flat a little bit. I don't know why Jeff Jarrett was there if he wasn't really going to have anything involved in the match. He did a little bit with just like talk back and forth, but I felt like it was an odd and like ending to the match for me. I thought the world title match went long. Yeah, it had its points. I thought it went a little too long than it should have done, because we could tell how Brock was getting kind of tired towards the end. But just like you said, I thought the women's match in the beginning was fire. I thought the Logan Paul fight was fire. And I thought even the end went great. And then there's a couple of good moments here and there within that. But I thought the middle of the card kind of got affected by like the matches themselves.
Yeah, I think so too. I think you hit everything right on the head. Logan Paul was the huge standout for me because I wasn't saying that he couldn't do it. I was just saying he needed to be a heel doing it. But he showed that he can do it as a face. He wrestled a fantastic match. He's athletic as all hell. That standing moonsault he did from the apron was incredible to me. And then you're right, bro. If he comes and just does what he did every quarter, once every 3 months, that's huge. That's an attraction. That's what Ronda Rousey should have been. That's what Brock was, still is. And that's what makes Brock special and what would have made Ronda special if they used her right. And I think they will use Logan Paul the right way. Like, he didn't even come out tonight, do like a once-off disappear, come back Survivor Series, disappear, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania season, that kind of stuff. And I think he could be fucking, I can't believe I'm saying it, but fucking awesome, dude.
Can you imagine him in the Royal Rumble?
I think it would be fun, man. I think that's a good, it's not even a celebrity spot, I guess, because he's signed, but he does big things for them too. The casuals really love the guy. And if he can go out and do what he did on a big stage, both at WrestleMania and SummerSlam last night, then people, not the casuals, but people who watch regularly, they're going to like him too. Because you could tell that he's putting the work in.
And he's given the WWE fans too, because he has the most watched YouTube show in the United States. And I like what he did with WrestleMania. He did WrestleMania, but then the day after he had Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch on Impulsive, and he had them both for, I believe, 45 minutes where he just shot the shit with them, and it gave them, like, the WWE fans, like, a new viewership, and it gave, like, WWE new fans from his podcast who saw those wrestlers on, and then were like, oh, let me check out WWE because he's going to be on there to see how he does. So he was able to do some of that, like, cross promotion. And this was very interesting to me. King of Cleveland said only half the stadium was full. I saw a video out there where you could see people running around on the opposite side where it was empty because of how they only utilized half the stadium. And another thing, that L-shaped entrance thing, I think that's a SummerSlam thing that they're going to do, like, on these outside shows. They did that for Vegas last year. And I liked the setup, how they came out and then went around to the ring. It gave them more time to get an entrance, and it gives enough people more time to give them a pop or boom. And I think it adds to the time of the show. And I like it. I like the idea because they're only doing it for SummerSlam. They didn't do it for Mania. Mania is just a straight walk down. It gives it like a difference in setup, production wise, and I think it's only beneficial. And then he said half, not half, and then my buddy Touch chiming in, Brock used the tractor. That's not fair for Roman. In the beginning, it was. I'll be critiquing that because I thought they could have used it more, but I'll get into that in the main event of the show that we're going to do it. And then we're also going to talk Ric Flair's last match, which was last night. We're just going to talk the main event, but we got a lot of opinions on that. But let's get started with the first match on the card. Probably one of the best. We have the Women's Raw Championship where Bianca Belair defeats Becky Lynch by pin. What were your thoughts on this match?
I loved it. As far as like in-ring goes, it was definitely the match of the night, in my opinion. It had a lot of good storytelling, both inside and outside of the ring. There was one point where I thought Becky was going to actually get the win, but Bianca kicked out. At the end of the day, I thought it would have been really foolish for Becky to win. I didn't see the turn coming. So like my biggest takeaways were after the match, obviously. The match itself was fire. Like I said, probably the best in-ring match of the night. The main event was fucking crazy. That's not a technical match by any means. These two women fucking tore it up. But the end of the match was fucking awesome. I loved how Becky and Bianca shook hands after the match. I didn't think that was going to happen. More importantly, I want to talk about how Becky Lynch wrestled this match with a separated shoulder. That's fucking insane how she did what she did. Talk about a badass fucking woman, man. Talk about a badass in general. Badass, dude. Fucking got to give her props for that, man. She tore it up. I love the handshake afterwards. I was like, damn, Becky's turning face. This is awesome. And then when Becky went and she sat on the side, I was like, what's going to happen here? And then Bayley's music hit. And if you know me, I love Bayley, dude. I think she's fucking fantastic. I fucking marked out hard for that. And then, boom, Dakota comes out. Boom, Io comes out. And look at them together if you're watching this right now live. Look at them together on the screen. They fucking look fantastic, dude. That's a fucking stable right there. I saw someone say Bayley left as a 10. She came back as a 30. I mean, my God, look at her, dude. That stable is badass. And then when they enter the ring, 3-on-1. All right, cool. I'm like, all right, Becky's going to come in. So then you got Becky standing side by side with Bianca. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. So I'm like, ooh, are we going to get another return? And then I started thinking, Becky is going to fucking just clock Bianca, be the leader of the stable. It'll be Becky going after Liv or something and Bayley going after Bianca, and they're going to have this badass stable. I'm glad it didn't happen that way. Becky needs to be a face. We've talked about this personally. Yeah. She needs to be a face, in my opinion. The people love her. They don't want to boo her. So I love that.
I love the reactions from Bianca when Becky came in. She didn't know what to do. She looked at her confused, and she looked at the three of them opposite her. And it wasn't until you see like Becky Lynch talk to Bayley and put her hands up that she was like, okay, I see this. We got this now. And then you see the three of them back up and move on. Like a lot of people are thinking maybe this is a thing where they get Asuka to join them, and it's like a 3-on-3 match down the line. Can you imagine that? Like Asuka, Bianca, and of course Becky against Bayley, Io Sky as they're calling her now, and Dakota Kai. Like I saw Io Shirai coming back, but I didn't see Dakota Kai because that was the one thing. Like we said yesterday, we didn't expect it. We didn't hear anything from the dirt sheets on her. It was kind of like silence on her end. Like you would see her a lot on Twitch, and she wouldn't talk about anything. And a lot of people didn't really talk about it when they were on her Twitch. They would just talk about her switching her name to King Coda on her like Twitch, and then her handles and everything, and then just gaming. She kind of like fell under the radar for a return. But then I think about it, it's like Triple H took over. I think she was more of a Triple H person. Same with Io Shirai. And then the news came out that apparently Vince didn't want Becky to turn face again, but then that was a Triple H move where he had her turn face, because a lot of people, even as a heel, were giving her applause and were rooting for her. So it was like the writing was on the wall that she was eventually going to turn. I just didn't expect it like this. I expected maybe Bianca to turn heel and then that would turn Becky face, but that's not what happened. But I like what they did, and the match was banging. I liked how Bianca came in with a purpose. She felt like she needed to win this with a statement win because of what happened last year, and then she hasn't really pinned Becky since WrestleMania. And Becky was like, yeah, that was a fluke. And she wanted to make a statement that it wasn't a fluke. I like the several attempts to do the finisher. Becky was able to get out of that. And if you tell me she has a separated shoulder, that's even more impressive that she was able to reverse out of it. She did it on the outside, but then she could have taken the 10 count. That's why I thought maybe she would have pulled a heelish move, taken the count out win. But she didn't. She went in and then came back out and brought Becky back into the ring and avoided the finisher. She avoided the finisher off the top ropes and then got the finisher in the middle of the ring for the pin. And then you had of course, like we said, the shake hands, and then of course Bayley's return, and then the debuts on the main roster of Dakota Kai versus Io Shirai. They just made, if this is just a Raw thing, Raw just got even better. Like we've talked about SmackDown needing to get better on the women's side of things, but Raw just got hugely better. And I'm thinking that there's going to be something like a shakeup, like a superstar shakeup where they mix up both sides. And maybe this is a match that happens, and then maybe Bayley and those two move to SmackDown. to make that better. But in the short term, this is a huge win for WWE booking wise, just
Huge.
with the match and then the additions to the roster.
Yeah, man. And a couple last things. The manhandle slam from Becky on Bianca was so powerful. With thinking about her doing that, just while we were going back talking about it right now, thinking about her doing that with the separated shoulder is wild to me because she put her down hard in the pin. That was what I was talking about earlier when it was really close to near fall. And then the fucking KOD, it was like a jumping KOD. It was like when The Undertaker did a jumping tombstone on Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania. It was like a fucking jumping KOD. Slam Becky like it is over. And those two moves are hot. And I say I'm just really happy for Io Shirai. She said like she didn't want to go back to Japan. She said her goal in life was to wrestle on the main roster. So like her making her debut in that moment at SummerSlam, well, whether it was in front of half of an arena or not, that's awesome, dude. Like that's life-changing shit. Like you live for that. And she is one of the most talented women that I've seen. And you said Asuka, baby, give me Io and Asuka. Sign me up. Let's go.
And one moment that stood out to me during the match before we get going was the manhandle slam that was like reversed into the Spanish fly off the top rope.
Yes.
I thought that was legit. I was like, she's gonna get manhandle slam, and then she's gonna get to the ropes. But no, they did the Spanish fly to counter it, and I thought that was a big transition towards the next half of the match because I thought Becky Lynch was gonna get it and then to get the shocking victory, but she didn't. She got Spanish flied, and then she wound up getting, of course, KOD'd for the victory for Bianca Belair, but. We know what's brewing in the future for Bianca, and that's her and Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, and you still got Bayley sitting right, and that's why Becky didn't need to win. Becky, as crazy as it sounds, Becky's above the belt. She doesn't need the title. She's a lot like her husband. All right, Seth could lose 50 times in a row and still be Seth fucking Rollins. All right, Becky is much of the same. She doesn't need the title, but for Bianca now, having that belt's huge. You got Rhea. You got fucking Bayley right there. I thought Alexa would be on the verge of a heel turn sooner than later too. I don't see that anymore. Maybe now that we have a new heel faction that came in, but there are plenty of fresh contenders out there. It's exciting to be a fan of the women's division in WWE right now. Good stuff's coming.
Exactly. We got Dom chiming in. What's up, guys? That was an awesome moment. The entire match and fallout after definitely was. I loved it. This we just said earlier, this was one of our favorite matches. But let's transition to another one of our favorite matches on the card. Logan Paul defeats The Miz. And we had a lot going on with this because The Miz had, of course, Ciampa and Maryse on his side. And then we had Logan Paul, who had a little bit of help from AJ Styles to help him out with the 3-on-1 numbers game. But what was your thoughts on this match?
Dude, I was super impressed with Logan Paul. First of all, you said a lot going on with The Miz. Miz always looks great. Having Maryse by his side makes him look even better. The two of them look hot. Ciampa out there at the same gear looked awesome. I love that they're giving him a role, whether that's going to be him turning on The Miz and going his own way now that Triple H is in charge, or it's actually him being there with The Miz. Because, again, we talked about last week on the show, his promo was fucking straight fire. So I'm actually okay with them being together. The three of them look great. Logan Paul was so good in the ring from start to finish. He was so athletic. He was concise. He told a good story in the ring. His standing moonsault off the apron really stood out to me. He did a Hurricane Rana in the ring, like a standing Hurricane Rana that was fucking awesome, man. He was reversing moves like he was a fucking 5-year pro. Very, very good. I love the match. It was top 3 match of the night. I said Logan Paul had to be a heel. He makes no sense as a face. Miz was the perfect foil for him on the other side because Miz is that heel that you want to root against. Logan Paul was slotted perfectly in this place. I'm glad AJ got out there. I still think it probably should have been a mixed tag so AJ could have got on the card. AJ got his moment on the show, so to speak. And I loved it, man. Logan Paul, fuck yeah. I'm all in on Logan Paul. I cannot believe I'm saying that.
That's what I was hoping for. It was going to be a 2-on-2. You just have Maryse there. as the manager, but it wasn't. I love the fact how they brought in AJ Styles. How, of course, you had Ciampa picking and choosing his times to interfere in the match to break the momentum of Logan Paul. He comes up there. Logan Paul gets the rep the look, and then he gets thrown out, but he refuses to leave. He says, "Nope, I'm not leaving." He gets a chair, puts it down, and then he sits there. And then all of a sudden, you see out of nowhere AJ Styles appear and attack him and throw him over the barricade just like he did there. And then that nullifies both of those guys out. So then it's just the Miz and Logan Paul with Maryse. I thought one of the biggest moments was of course, the jump off the top rope like AJ Styles, the phenomenal forearm from Logan Paul. And then they go, "Oh my God, has AJ Styles been training Logan Paul all this time?" And it was a nice wrinkle to the match because he almost gets the close 3 count, but he doesn't. Then you see Maryse get involved in the match. You think he was going to get finished. But the biggest moment of it all was, of course, the jump off the top rope.
Yes.
He lays him down on the announcer's table. He goes up. He pulls off the top part of the apron to give himself more leverage. And you're like, he's not going to do this. No way. No way he's going to do this. And somehow the Miz is going to move. No. I like the little bit of back talk between him and Maryse as he's climbing the ropes. I thought that added a little bit more because of what happened towards the end of the match. He jumps on and does the frog splash off the top rope onto the announcer's table and gets up right away. That was huge. And it was kind of like he didn't even do like a regular one. It was kind of like on an angle. He had to do it off of an angle to connect, and he landed perfectly on the Miz and showcased his athleticism there. Then he gets him back into the ring. Maryse gets on the top rope and then you had the Miz who had the card in his hand. I think it was the card that was in his hand. He's going to hit him with it. And, of course, Logan Paul moves, and then Miz almost hits Maryse with it. Doesn't. But then he gets the skull-crushing finale by Logan Paul to get the pin. That was the best ending possible for that match. And Logan Paul picks up the victory, gains a lot of momentum. It makes me think, what's going to be next for him? Because I thought the reason he signed was because of this. I thought this match was going to somehow have a DQ or have a tag match, and then it was going to carry the feud on until like Mania. But now I'm just like, what is going to happen? Like, he already beat the Miz. Who's he going to face now? Like, there's a lot of names that you can go with this. Like, what is he going to do at Survivor Series? What is he going to do at the Rumble? Where are they going to take this to? And I'm excited for it. I didn't think I was going to be, but now I'm very excited to see what they do with Logan Paul in the future. And then, just like you said, the Miz is the perfect heel. He gets a lot out of whoever he's facing. That's why they put him in these situations. That's why he's always going up against somebody who's a big-time name who's trying to converge into the wrestling world. Is he can make the transition easy because of who he is. And that's why he gets a lot of the time on Raw and SmackDown pay-per-views is because of that. And you're going to see a little bit more of his character. I'm hoping at some point Ciampa turns on him and goes big time. And you see the return of the Blackheart, Tommaso Ciampa. I thought that was the best version of his character when he was doing that. And with Triple H as head of creative now, I could see it happening now.
Yeah, no, that would be fucking awesome. I'm down with him being with Miz for a few months, and then eventually, he gets weary of him, he gets sick of him. Like, even if they do that at WrestleMania, like, I'd be fine if this carried from now until WrestleMania, and that was a one-on-one match, and that was like Ciampa's big fucking coming out party with the singles win over the Miz at WrestleMania. As far as Logan Paul goes, you said it. I'm excited. I don't know where it's going to go. I think a perfect opponent for him would probably be a guy like Sheamus, another veteran heel who can definitely, keep you in that face role. Like, you'll root against the Sheamus. So maybe something like that, or a call up like fucking asshole like Grayson Waller or something like that. But I'm excited to see where it goes for sure.
That's a great one for like around Mania. Say they call him up because people are big on social media, and you'd have a face and you'd have a heel. So that'd be a big time one, and you have it created. Maybe have it created on like Impulsive or like right off of social media. That's how the storyline starts.
Right. And that way you help to build a new star in a guy like Grayson Waller.
Yeah.
And we're also missing a guy who's right there. He's the biggest heel, one of the biggest heels on the roster. You got fucking Theory and you got Corbin. So there are definitely heels to work for him to work with.
And perfect transition there, naming Theory to our next match. It was the U.S. title match where we saw Bobby Lashley defeat Theory by pinfall. I'll give my quick opinions on this. I had high hopes for this match, but the right guy won in Bobby Lashley. I didn't like how they keep portraying Theory in this role of kind of comedic relief where something happens. He goes to leave the match. Like, what is he going to benefit from leaving the match? He's not going to win the title. He does have the briefcase, but then it makes him look worse. How he just goes to leave. And then he comes back. And he speaking of Grayson Waller, I felt like he went to do the Grayson Waller finisher, like run in and do the stunner. Yep. And that was where Bobby Lashley caught him up, pressed him up, and turned it into the full Nelson choke and got him to tap out. But you have to have Lashley win this, what they did. You want him to keep going. Right now, he's one of the biggest baby faces on the roster moving forward. He's the U.S. champion. You want him to have the chance to, like we talked about before, he's talked about wanting to wrestle Gunther at Survivor Series and to help put over the IC title by having Gunther have a big-time match. What better way to do that than to keep on having Bobby Lashley win, look strong, and then going into that rumored match on a winning streak, because they're both big guys who are winning now. And then if you can do that, it makes that match even bigger. You put Gunther over, and that in turn puts that IC title over tremendously, because that IC title has not been effective for the past year. It hasn't even been defended on a pay-per-view since last Mania, I believe it is.
Yep. Yeah, it's a damn shame, dude. No, you're right. You hit like everything on the head. First of all, Theory was sitting there saying he wants to walk out of the show with the United States Championship and as the WWE Undisputed Universal Champion. And yet he goes to walk out of this match. That makes absolutely no sense. How are you going to try to walk out of this match where you said you want to walk out of the night with all the belts? Then on top of it, you're right. The match was a rematch, just like Money in the Bank, and this is going to be my biggest complaint for the Street Profits and the Usos. This match brought nothing of value. That match, or nothing different, nothing of value. It didn't add anything. So it was a nothing match, and I also hate how Theory taps out to the Hurt Lock in 4 seconds. Like, it ain't even 4 seconds. Yo, Bobby literally straps him in the lock, and he's tapping as he gets in there. Like, yo, bro, shake a little bit. Sell the fucking move. I mean, like, ultimately, sure, you're selling it at its highest value because you're tapping the second you get into it. But, like, show some facial expressions. Let him wiggle you around a little bit. Throw you around. Like, that's my complaints. But I don't got too much on this match. The right man won. I've said it plenty of times now. Since Bobby won this belt, Bobby winning the belt was important for one reason and one reason only. If Roman's not going to be there all the time, then Bobby will be the man with the title on the show, meaning he is their A champion. And he's the guy for that.
He said that in an interview that he, with Roman not there, he said Roman earned it by winning and being on that win streak. But he said if he's not going to be there, then he's going to be the guy to step up to fill that void by, just like you said, be the A champion. Kind of like what you hear Carmelo Hayes say on NXT with being the North American champion. He's the A title. He's the guy that can be bigger than the world champion, which I feel like he's doing down there on NXT. But Bobby Lashley's the guy. Like, you just had him squash over Theory, and just like you said, he should have sold the Hurt Locker a little bit more. He should have sold it a few more seconds to make it more meaningful for his character. But he does it very quickly. I don't know if maybe they're doing this, they're making Theory look like a joke so much that when he actually cashes in and wins, that people are surprised by it. But then we already know that
he's 0-8, bro. I meant to say that. My bad. 0-8 since winning the Money in the Bank briefcase.
Exactly.
0-8. And records don't mean anything. Like I said, if you're a guy like Seth Rollins, records don't mean anything. And even a guy like Theory, in this case, records don't mean anything because he's got the briefcase and all he's got to do is cash it in. Bada boom, he's the world fucking champion. But at the end of the day, give the guy some fucking credibility, all right? Let
Yeah.
him win a match or two.
Yeah, because all these guys that are winning the briefcase are either cashing in very quickly, or when they go on a long reign, they are winning. They're winning and losing, but they know when to put them over and have them win. But to have them go 0-8, come on now, like this guy had potential. I like the fact that he lost to Pat McAfee, and then you have him win the Money in the Bank briefcase. That was a nice swerve in his character. You did it great there, but now since then, I'm hoping this was a Vince thing, because I'm hoping that they're going to fix it, and then you're going to see him be more aggressive, be a better character, and then to like pick up that win. I have a feeling that it might come at the next month or two to just do away with the Money in the Bank, and then you're going to see a better version of Theory. But I haven't been a big fan of him just getting beat and then looking like a joke.
Yeah. I will say the complete opposite. I'm not going to be long-winded on it. I think that he will hold. I think he should hold the briefcase into next year after WrestleMania. I think that whenever Cody wins, which should be whenever he comes back, that I want him to cash in on Cody, because that's the ultimate heat, dude.
That's huge, especially. With him chasing so long and not being his biggest thing. It reminds me of like Impact when they had Josh Alexander win, but then Moose got the first call right away, and he beat him right away. He took that movement away from Josh Alexander, and then you created a rivalry for 6 months between the two of them. If they did that, that'd be great, having a Cody and Theory a rivalry for a couple months where Cody has to fight back to win what he won.
Yep.
And actually had that moment instead of having it taken away. But before we get to the next match, we got Alex Ramirez, the general, chiming in. Press the like button. Definitely so. If you guys are tuned in, press the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. We're talking SummerSlam 2022. We're doing a recap of it. We're through the first 3 matches now. We got 4 or 5 matches left. Plus, we're going to be doing the Ric Flair's last match review. We got Alex, Let's Go Cage. We got Touch, LOL. The next match on the card we had was the tag team match that probably shouldn't have happened. Like, I was disappointed in it. We had the Mysterios defeat the Judgment Day by pinfall with help from Edge returning after the beatdown that he received a month and a half ago. What are your thoughts on this match?
I hate it. I fucking hate it all. I guess the one good thing was Rhea came out in shorts. I guess that was cool. The fact that the Mysterios beat the Judgment Day for the 3rd time is fucking repulsive. I thought you give the Judgment Day the win so you at least make them look credible, and then you have Edge come out after. I guess it was a no DQ for a reason, but even Edge looks fucking stupid, dude. They kept calling him the rated R superstar, but they got this short hair and he came out to fire. I think he is a lot like Chris Jericho, and he's not sure what he wants to be nowadays. While Jericho's actually, I think, got that down. Edge doesn't, unfortunately. I don't like it. There you go. I think it's stupid, man. I didn't like any of it.
I want the mohawk. I would have been fine with the mohawk. That would have looked good. That would have looked cool for the character, but he just did the short hair. He kind of did like a lazy mohawk where he shaved the sides and left the whole top up there. If he would have had the mohawk, if he would have at least brung out Beth Phoenix, this would have made sense to me because of Rhea Ripley coming out, and then it would have turned into something. But if they would have had Judgment Day winning and then doing this, it would have been more enticing of an ending, and then a comeback from Edge coming back in after the match. I thought it was going to happen. I thought they were going to get the finish, but then they had the lights go out and Edge come in when you thought that Rey Mysterio was going to be done.
Why not wait? What? Oh, sorry. No. Go ahead and finish.
I was going to say, why not wait a minute or two, have Judgment Day get the finish, pin him, attack him some more, and then have the lights go out and have Edge come out? That would have been better.
Yeah, you could have either had Rhea help Judgment Day win the match and then have Edge make the save after, or what I was thinking was going to happen was once Edge comes out and he makes the save, then Dominik turns, dude. Dominik lays out Edge. The Judgment Day lay out Edge and Ray. Boom. The Judgment Day gets the win, and they look fucking interesting. nothing was interesting coming out of this match, man. And it was very disappointing because when they did, I guess a lot of people didn't like it, but when they did the initial Balor and Edge turn on Raw, I really dug it.
Yeah.
I thought it was surprising. I thought it had legs, and I wanted to see where it went. So far, it's been nothing but a failure. Finn, Priest, failures. Edge, failure. The Mysterios are the ones who are going over and over and over. Fuck off, dude.
And we've been waiting for this Dominik heel turn, and it just hasn't happened. And it makes me feel like, are they ever going to do it, or are they just going to have him stay face and then have a Rey Mysterio retire, give him the mask, and then that's when they decide to change his gimmick to more of a luchador style wrestler, where it becomes more like enticing to watch him, because then you're like, okay, he's doing all these high flying moves and he has a mask. We get it now. And you don't have to look at his face, because his facial expressions at times are too happy, too smile, and not too serious. And they've all but killed the Judgment Day. Rhea Ripley has been fine because she hasn't been in these matches. I think that injury kind of helped her out, because it didn't cure any of her momentum, because she's going to be going for the title. And her spots were, she had great spots in this match, but they killed Priest. They killed Finn Balor. Like, how are you going to take them serious when they lose matches like this? And then you have Edge come back. How are you going to book like a 3-on-3 match, like with a potential Beth Phoenix coming in to go opposite of Rhea Ripley? It's just not going to happen. And Touch comes in, Mysterio suck, boo.
Yes.
And then Dominik is built like the Spirit Squad. Oh my God. I that is to the T right there.
Dominik should go fucking wrestle for AEW Dark, dude, because I'm fucking sick of watching it, man. The only person
he should have been back in NXT when they had him do that, and then gain experience, and then do a little bit of change of character. I thought like the fact that he's been trained by Lance Storm would have helped him, and it would have gave him that style where he would have been more technical, and then you could have pulled this off better. But you have him do too much high flying moves to where he's kind of like a tall.
He thinks he's his dad. Yeah, dude. Yeah. He's not his dad. It's stupid. There's only one person who can save the Judgment Day. Who am I going to say? The answer is Bray Wyatt. He's the only person. If they bring him back in some capacity to lead that group, they'll be able to somehow fucking save them. I don't think it's going to happen. And I'm not one of those Bray's coming back. Bray's going here. Bray's going there. I don't know what Bray's doing. More importantly, I don't fucking care. I love Bray, but he can go do what he wants to do, man. But that's the only way that group's being saved, is if Bray Wyatt comes back. Otherwise, fuck.
Yeah. And then with Edge, you know what's going to lean to? It's going to be Edge and Beth Phoenix and maybe Ray versus the Judgment Day. They're going to put over Edge, Beth, and Ray. It's going to kill the Judgment Day until they get rid of it. And then Edge and Beth are going to do their own thing for a while, where they're going to fight another couple, or maybe Beth just appears here and there, and Edge does his thing as the Brood, because he has the new Brood music now, which I get that's, they brought it back because it got beat down by him, but it's just another bad decision by a bad decision. And if you're going to have him do this, just have him do it from the start. Don't put him in the Judgment Day to begin with. But I know why they did it, to get the group over with his name. But, you know, I thought they did it bad, and it's just killed the Judgment Day to a point where you want them to just do away with the group.
Well, I'm hoping tonight that I feel like we got freshness again. You know, we said it last week.
Yes.
We're going to see some fresh things. Things are going to take time. I know what happened last night was still Vince's vision with the Judgment Day and with Edge, that you can see it when you watch, or maybe we're so fickle as fans. All the good stuff are going to be like, that's Triple H. All the bad stuff are going to say that's Vince. But I know that this is Vince's thing. And I think that there'd be no supernatural, the Judgment Day with Triple H. And more importantly, Triple H would have been like, Edge, what's your vision for this group that you started? Let's continue to roll that. And there's been no one who's fallen off more than Damian Priest. He was at that point with the U.S. title where it's like he could be the Money in the Bank. He could be a future world champion. And now it's like he's no different than T-Bar.
And then he had a great showing in the Royal Rumble where he got to the end and eliminated a lot of guys. And I was like, okay, this guy's moving strong. And then they just killed him. Like, I put him in the same aspect as Riddle. These two guys that the fans could like, but on opposite spectrums, and they've just killed it. Like I love how with Riddle, I feel like it's the chase is the big thing with them. He's always coming short. But you know that whenever he wins it, the crowd's going to go wow because the crowd is into his character and they're doing the storylines with him perfect. But with Priest, they're not. They're just you start to see greatness, but then they just killed it with the Judgment Day.
Yeah, man, it's sad to see, dude. It's really sad. That guy had a lot of potential. He's still that's like he doesn't. Fuck, Triple H is in charge right now. Who does Triple H love? Who had a lot of success in NXT? Finn Balor, Damian Priest, Rhea Ripley. Honestly, we shouldn't really be too worried about the Judgment Day. But after what we saw at SummerSlam, it was fucked.
Maybe it's just like 3 steps forward, 7 steps back, and then 10 steps forward after this. Maybe Triple H salvages it and starts to put him on the right track, and then it takes time for it to happen. And by maybe like December, January, they're good to go. The roller machine. I'll be patient with it, but right now, like I'm losing my mind with how they're booking them.
Because all 3 of them are so great, especially Balor. When I read that story today about how Balor got depressed because he hasn't been on the last 2 WrestleManias when there's 2 nights in front of live crowds, that's fucking awful, dude. Yeah. A talent like that should always either have a mid-card title match, put the mid-card titles in and get defended. He should have a mid-card title match or fucking have a match. Like, it's crazy, man.
It's crazy that they have him in the Battle Royale and have it on SmackDown. But then you got like no knock to him. Like I think he has potential moving forward once he comes back from injury. But then you got Rick Boogs appearing on WrestleMania in I believe it was the opening match in the tag title match. But then you can't find space for Finn Balor, a guy who's held your NXT title for over a year, and then moves up here and then wins the title right away. He was the first person to win the of course the title on Raw, but then universal title, but then has to drop it because of injury, and then ever since then it's been like a up and down booking for him. Like you've seen great signs of the future for him, but then they kill it, but then great signs, but then they kill it again. And what I'm hoping now I'm thinking of it, what this leads towards with the Judgment Day and Edge is a one-on-one between Finn Balor and Edge where you see the Demon.
Ooh,
I want to see the Demon back.
Yeah.
I want that to happen. You have the Brood Edge versus the Demon Finn Balor. That is what sells. And if you do that, then you'll get me back.
Yeah, that'd be nice for sure. We spent way too long on that match.
Yeah, but definitely so. But let's move on to the next match. We had Pat McAfee, who defeats Happy Corbin by decision. This wasn't a great match. This wasn't a bad match. This was an entertaining match. I'll say that. It entertained me. It was good. It had a couple botches, but a couple great moments. I loved when Happy Corbin came out to the booze, and he's all happy. But then you see the choir in the background say "bum-ass Corbin," and then you just see his face just diminish, and he gets pissed. And then you see the new entrance theme for Pat McAfee. I thought that entrance was fire. I loved it. I loved seeing his face like a million times on the package video. And then he comes out, gets the crowd hyped up. Everybody loves Pat McAfee. He could be a heel and people will still like him because he's a likable guy. He was a punter. He comes in here. He loves the business. That's the big thing. He loves the business. And he just gets overhyped. The way he jumps on top of the announcer's table when Shinsuke comes out, he gets you invested in Nakamura. He gets in there. Even if you talk about Michael Cole, he gets Michael Cole to a newer level on the commentary because Michael Cole has even said he loves working with them. That's why they're both on SmackDown, because you get a better commentary crew there with how they work well together. And I thought he did good. Like there's points in times where it was a struggle for Pat McAfee to get on the top rope, but then he performed a lot of the moves. I loved how he used the low blow to transition to the finisher, but he did the vertical suplex off the top. They were just great moments, great pace, And like, I'll transition it to you in a second with furthermore, but I looked at the end. I feel like they're going to be doing something with Pat McAfee and Corey Graves, because he goes to shake his hand and he goes like this to Corey Graves, and then he starts to shake some of the fans out, and then it's just like there's going to be something there with them too. And my prediction is you're going to see Survivor Series. You're going to see Team Graves and Team McAfee, and they're going to have a team to themselves. And you might even see Corey Graves come back and wrestle for it, because the way that they've been going back and forth has been perfectly good. And then whenever Pat wrestles, they have Corey Graves there to do commentary with Michael Cole. So it has a lot of intrigue there. The match wasn't like a 10 out of 10. I gave it like a 6 out of 10, just because I thought Corbin carried the match great, and then McAfee had some great moments. But it was entertaining. That's what you wanted out of it. Even if it's not going to be great, as long as people are entertained with the match, then the match goes over.
Yeah, McAfee's great, dude. I mean, for a celebrity, I mean, we've talked about it. I don't necessarily consider him a celebrity in this role anymore. But as a celebrity performer, he's fucking awesome in the ring. The match was whatever, man. It was like a 5 or a 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
Like you said, it was entertaining. I don't need to see Pat McAfee on every big show. Like at WrestleMania is cool. I guess now he's at SummerSlam. I don't need to see him at Survivor Series or Royal Rumble.
Like he didn't even do Money in the Bank, which was fine. Like you didn't need him there.
No, if you want to bring him back in a wrestling role like WrestleMania and do the Graves thing, or even if you want to do like I can fuck with that Survivor Series thing, but then I don't want to see him until WrestleMania. Like the match itself is fine. Him on commentary is fucking fire. I got a couple of casual fans who watched recently, and they're like, "Damn, is McAfee like going to be the GOAT?" And they're like all about Bobby the Brain and fucking Jerry Lawler. I'm sorry, I can't believe I forgot the King's name. But they're all about fucking the Brain and the King, and they're like, "Damn, is McAfee like going to be the GOAT?" And I was like, with his passion and his enthusiasm, the way he loves the business, he very well could be, man. The guy is fucking fired, dude. He brings a different energy. But what I wanted to talk about in this match, what I put in my notes when I was watching the show was how fucking great is Michael Cole on commentary. And you hit on
Love
it, man.
it. Yes.
Dude, I put in my notes twice about Michael Cole. He was so good calling this show, but more importantly, the enthusiasm he puts and the way he supports his partner is fucking awesome. So that added to it. I like Pat McAfee's finisher. I thought McAfee should have won the match. I'm glad he did, but I don't really need to see him going forward. I do think they're going to set up this Graves and McAfee thing down the road. I don't know if it's your Survivor Series match because I don't know that they believe in Survivor Series matches. But hey, Triple H is back in charge, so maybe that comes back.
Yeah, if they don't do that, then if they do it at Mania, I'd be even more happier for that, because then you give it more time to formulate, and then you have more of the friction between the two, and you just keep it going and going, and then it boils over once you get to WrestleMania season, and then you can get people hyped up for it. If you see Pat McAfee wrestling twice a year, that's perfectly fine. Like you have to do once in the summer and then once in the like fall, spring, winter, spring. And then he doesn't do anything more but just do what he's great at, which is commentary, because he sometimes has botches, but everybody gets into the matches, and then he does a great job at it. But I thought this match was really good. Like, just like you said, I feel like he, and even Cole said, he reignited his passion for the business because of Pat McAfee, because he's always so happy. He's always ecstatic to be there because he's a lifelong wrestling fan, and now he gets to do what he didn't think would ever be possible, and that's to commentate for the WWE. And we got Clark Street coming in here. What's up, fellas? All I gotta do is just for you. We're gonna talk about it later, but that's all I'm gonna do. Just for you, Clark Street. We are the ones. But entertaining matchup. We won't do too much more into this matchup, just like we did last match. But we're gonna grow into this match now. The next match is the Usos defeated the Street Profits to retain the undisputed World Tag Titles with Jeff Jarrett as the special guest referee. I'll let you start this one out because I don't even know what to say right now.
Yeah, so these two teams are two of the best teams in the world. The match itself was a good match, right? So I look back at their Money in the Bank match, and that was maybe the best match of the year. So coming off of the best match of the year, which was a clean 2-on-2 match, and going towards a 2-on-2 match with no stipulations and just Jeff Jarrett as your special guest referee, I wasn't digging that. I thought that they should have had some sort of maybe ladder match, or I'm not so big on tables matches, so I thought a ladder match probably would have been the way to go. But they didn't do that. They did a regular, clean 2-on-2 match. They fucked with the ref a lot. The ending to the match came because Tez was disappointed in a 2 count he got from Jarrett, so he seemingly got distracted. They hit the Usos hit the 1D, got the win. The match was fine. It was a good match. They're great teams. They can go out there, these two teams, with their eyes closed. Dawkins performed again. I love seeing Dawkins perform because everyone always hyping Tez. So I'm a big Team Dawkins guy now. Not like I'm not Team Tez, but I want to see Dawkins succeed. I think that big boy is fucking good. So I think he fucking showed out again. Obviously, the Usos are the best tag team in the world. There's never going to be a match, so they're not going to have that's not good. But coming off what they did at Money in the Bank to this, it felt very fucking flat to me. And so I can't say I didn't enjoy it because it was a good match. It was fine, but it felt flat to me with the expectations.
It's just a product of it's just a product of coming after the Money in the Bank match where that was fire. That was probably one of the best matches on that card. And
of the year.
They just had you just had a lot of near finishes in that matchup, and then you go from that to this. You added Jarrett, which you thought was going to have a big effect, but he called it straight down the line. He did what he was supposed to do, and I guess the only part that he played was when Montez Ford would get mad at him for the 2 counts, and he just went into rage Montez Ford mode, and he was like, "I'm going to win this regardless of you," and then it caused him to go and get thrown over the barricade and then leave Andrew Dawkins to a 2-on-1 handicap, which he wound up losing to. But then you see the news tonight that they're getting a tag title shot again, but here on Raw. So what is this going to do? Are they going to actually put over the Street Profits on Raw?
It's the Mysterios. It's not the Street Profits.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Then that corrects a lot. Even though I don't think the Mysterios should be getting a tag title shot, but like I'm saying, what's going to happen from them losing twice? Are they going to actually break them up like it's been rumored? And you're going to get a heel turn Montez Ford and a babyface Andrew Dawkins? Or are they could just continue this craziness and then they're going to get another shot finally down the line and win it? I'm I just don't know. If they do the heel turn in the next week or two, I get the ending. I get why, because he gets frustrated in the matchup, and he's not the one that took the pin. But then it's he took the pin at Money in the Bank, but then Dawkins took the pin here. Wouldn't you have had Dawkins take the pin both matches? So then he could be really mad for a reason, because he can be like, "Oh, you took the pin, you're the reason we lost," and then turn heel. It's just some of it's good, and then some of it I question.
Well, they were even first of all, even going back to their singles matches, Dawkins was the one who beat main event Jay, while Jimmy beat Montez, if I remember correctly. And then in this match on commentary, they were mentioning a lot. Everyone keeps talking about Montez going off, but look at Dawkins. Look what he can do. Everyone's saying Montez is going to be this big single star. Look at Dawkins. So what if, and I don't want it to happen, I don't think the Street Profits should ever be broken up. I'm a big guy. I'm a big guy. I am a big guy. I'm big into stables. All right. I think that they should add a third member to the Street Profits if they want Tez to go off on his own so bad, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that. That's the natural progression. All right. Tez goes off on his own. If Dawkins ain't ready, which I think he is, but their mid cards are relevant. But again, everything is taken with a grain of salt now that H is in charge. Yeah. But what if they add a third Street Profit and Dawkins stays in a tag team, like a guy they call up a guy like Wesley or something. I don't know. And then you have Dawkins with a Wesley and Montez out as a single star, but they don't break out. They're still fucking together. They're still boys. Why do we always got to be breaking up? Can't we just add two? You want to keep them as a tag team?
I think it's because that's a Vince McMahon thing. He likes to break tag teams up, turn them into single stars. It's worked a lot, Shawn Michaels was one of the first ones that we could think of. Bret Hart, even though it kind of killed Neidhart, but then he wound up going as a manager for Owen Hart. So that turned into something great because of it. He's had great moments with doing it certain points, but then he's had a lot of times where it just fell flat. And like Titus O'Neil turning on Darren Young, it didn't really do anything for a hero. Titus O'Neil, he just went to like part-time wrestler, and now he never wrestles anymore. He's just the ambassador of the WWE. And then you see Darren Young now as Fred Rosser in New Japan, and he looks like $1 million over there. Like, I think that's something that maybe they messed up on was Darren Young, because now he's become a big time player in New Japan, and he could wrestle. Like him and Tom Lawler was just a 10-star match if I had to go. And I thought that match was crazy. We got Anon chiming in. King Cage, thanks for tuning in. Some of my MMA community coming in here to check us out and leaving comments here.
Your boy Fred put the work in, bro. Not many people do what he did.
No.
Drew McIntyre, Jinder Mahal, Fred Rosser. Like, these are guys I think about who went out and did the work, man.
Yes.
He did the work.
I want to see that from Angelo Dawkins, and I'm starting to see it right now. He's putting the work in. He not only didn't beat Jay clean, but then he beat Jimmy a couple weeks ago. Like, he beat Jay last month going into Money in the Bank, but then he beat Jimmy leading up into this match at SummerSlam. So he's 2-0, whereas Montez Ford was 1-for-1 in his matches against the Usos. So they're definitely showcasing Angelo Dawkins for a reason, and part of it is because they don't want people to really expect like the breakup, but they want you to know that as singles guys they can both be good. Like, of course, Montez Ford has the better attributes and the personality, but that doesn't mean Angelo Dawkins isn't going to be good. That just means that more people are thinking that Montez Ford is the better product as a single star. I'm hoping both succeed. I love both of them. They both have the charisma, the potential, and they're both showcasing as a tag team, but then they can showcase as singles guys. Like, I'm hoping that they don't ruin Dawkins because of Ford, but then now that this is going to be a theme of the night with Triple H at the helm, I think that they're both going to be good superstars moving forward.
Yeah, let's hope more for an Edge and Christian or Hardy's than a Rockers or Hart Foundation for sure.
Yep. Let's transition from this to the next match, which is the Women's Championship for SmackDown. We have Liv Morgan defeats Ronda Rousey. I'll get this one started off. They did everything possible to make Ronda Rousey look like a badass, like a powerhouse, just to have her lose by a submission controversy pinfall. They had her do the armbar not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times. And each time Liv Morgan would get out. I think on the 3rd attempt, she was able to reverse it into a submission herself, but Ronda used her strength to get out of it. Oh, we got the house chiming in. We got Mo chiming in. Good stream. Let's go.
What up, Mo?
Word up, man. And like I said before, we're not just on Cage My IQ YouTube. We're also on the house. So subscribe and comment on that YouTube channel as well. And check out all the content on the house on YouTube. But moving forward here, they did everything possible to make Ronda Rousey look great. She's starting to turn heel here. This is what I was hoping for, was the heel turn, because I didn't really get her as a baby face. She didn't really work well. The crowd didn't like it. She didn't like it. And like booking the match, of course, you had Liv Morgan cash in when Ronda Rousey was hurt. Perfect timing to put the belt on Liv, because she was able to capitalize on a hurt champion. But I wondered how they were going to book this match, how they were going to put Liv over, because like you weren't going to have her win just to have her lose right away. And to kill that momentum, she's one of the top merchandise sellers on WWE Shop right now, and everybody loves her. You want to continue that. So what do? They have her reverse a submission into a pinfall, but then she gets near fall 2 count, but then Liv gets put into I believe the armbar again, but moves her over to a point where she gets a pin on her because her shoulders are down. 1, 2, 3. Liv gets the victory, but then you notice that at 2.5, she taps out. So you see the instant replay. Ronda freaks out, gets mad, attacks Liv some more, then attacks the ref, puts him in the armbar after the judo throw. You see everybody comes out. You see Liv just hanging out on the side. You make Ronda look great, but you see the heel turn, and then you're just like, okay, this is how they're going to get her off camera for a couple months. You're probably going to see her get suspended tonight by Adam Pearce, and then you won't see her come back until maybe the Survivor Series or the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, dude, fucking, you took those words right out of my mouth. So the match itself to me was the worst match in ring of the night, but the storytelling might have been the best. So I think that 100% Ronda needed to do what she did in this match. Watching Ronda go back and forth with fucking people like Natty is gross, dude. Ronda needs to go out there and be who Ronda is, dude. She's fucking MMA fucking UFC fucking champion, badass bitch, Olympic fucking gold medalist, Ronda fucking Rousey. Whoever the fuck she says she is, right? She fucking needs to go out there and whoop that ass. And she hasn't been doing that. What she did to Liv in this match was awesome, but I feared going in. I feared that Liv was going to get the Christian treatment against Randy Orton, where Randy Orton was clearly the dominant. Like, this wasn't fucking close. Watch me. But fucking, it wasn't supposed to be close, right? And Orton did get the win over Christian, so I was so scared that Rousey would get the win. We'd have to watch Liv chasing.
Yes.
Liv is chasing enough. I'm done with Liv chasing. Let Liv have her 4 or 5 month title reign and call it a fucking day. So now, the match itself, like I said, sucked. You hit it on the head. Rousey ripped those 4 arm bars. She was ripping her fucking arm apart. The whole pin, Rousey not having ring awareness, being a wrestler now for 3 years is stupid to me. But again, the story itself, I enjoyed. I think maybe they send her over to Clash of Castle because she's a huge name and they want to pop that UK crowd. But the show's already sold out, so maybe not. I do too think she is going to be suspended probably until Royal Rumble because they'll do the Raw versus SmackDown thing at Survivor Series, which I hate. So hey, Trips, get rid of that shit. But maybe they go that route. If not, I think Survivor Series would be a good time to bring her back and they do that match then. Regardless, Liv should have retained as she did.
Yeah, well, just like the house said, we got the Mecca champ in the building. What's up, Zach Johnson? Zach Johnson won it this Saturday night. Then Zach Johnson said, I hate Logan Paul, but looks like he fits in well. Like, you said it right. Like, a lot of people don't like him, but the work that he puts in is legit, and he had a great match, and he changed a lot of people's minds of him in the wrestling ring. But to get back to this, I could see that happening with the Ronda Rousey. Just like you said, wait, let her go away, come back around Royal Rumble. The one thing that I think of with Survivor Series where I think things might change is maybe we see more of the Raw versus SmackDown versus NXT now. Maybe they bring back NXT because of Triple H. Like, I thought that Survivor Series killed because of having the NXT there. And then not only that, they actually had NXT win that night, putting it over against Raw and SmackDown. So it built up the brand a little bit more.
Only thing I would retort to that is NXT actually had a brand then, and they were trying to compete with AEW, which made sense why they built that brand. Plus, they had guys like Keith Lee and Adam Cole on the Undisputed Era. Like Roderick Strong was in that fucking mid-card title match, and they had all these other guys. Like that 5-on-5 was fucking sick.
And they had Roderick Strong win that match by a schoolboy, which was crazy.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, you had all that faith in these people, but now, bro, they don't even. SmackDown doesn't even have its own fucking brand, dude. What would Mo say?
He said, busted open today. Tom and Drew said in a couple of years he can see Logan Paul main event WrestleMania. If he keeps improving, why not?
It's fucking.
A lot of people.
I was against it. Like I said earlier, I was hardcore against it. I didn't see it. But dude, he's got the attitude. He's got the social media following, and more importantly, the work ethic and athleticism to fucking make it happen. So when you got all of those things together, when you're a 5 fucking star player, you can fucking make that shit work. So it would not surprise me one bit. He still won't be the tribal chief.
No, but no one will. But The last point I'll make on this match is I'm glad Ronda Rousey is going to go away for a while, potentially, because you would think that she has to get suspended on this, and then you're going to see a little bit more of Liv Morgan as champion. I'm intrigued to see what happens next. I do see a potential match moving forward. There was a tweet pointed out there by, of course, Shayna Bazer that she said that wait till you see her this week. Yes. You're going to see her go hard this week. So it leaves me to believe maybe with Ronda Rousey out, maybe Shayna Baszler gets into the picture to kind of try and get some revenge for Rousey, and then it builds up Shayna Baszler's character, because that's a wrestler that I'm like, man, they've really like blew it with her. But with Triple H at the realm, maybe
it's been
he can build it back up.
3.5 years that she's been on the main roster, and she hasn't been a woman's fucking world champion. No. 3.5. Why didn't she just beat Becky? Why didn't she beat Becky? Yes. Why is she a vampire? Fuck off.
Why do you have her destroy that elimination chamber, just get beat by Becky with no crowd there? You could have had her win that and then have her drop the title back to Becky at some point, and it would have been fine. At least you would have had her look good and have her make that elimination chamber mean something. But they didn't. They had her lose, and then she's been wishy-washy ever since. They put into the tag team with, of course, Natalya. They put her into a couple of tag teams and Nia, and she's done nothing with it. They've had some comedic moments with her. She was dominant in NXT. She once had so many great matches on NXT takeovers where she was the champion for over a year, and then it built up Rhea Ripley taking the belt off of her because you didn't think anybody could right before she made the move up. And I thought she was going to be a big-time player, get caught up, and be a multi-time champion, and she hasn't. She hasn't done nothing. I don't even think she's won a title since she's been up.
Just the women's, past 3 minutes. Not a singles.
No, gross. And I hope that this is the push forward that she deserves. Even if she loses the match and she looks strong doing it, and then they move forward to where maybe she does win it down the line. Maybe she could be somebody that wins the Royal Rumble in January and gets a shot, and then you slow play her dominance moving forward. I got to see something from her because she's a missed talent that's getting misused right now, and I do not like it.
I've said this quote 100 times. Shayna Baszler is everything they wish Ronda Rousey could be and more.
And just like he said this, we talking Rhea. We were talking Shayna, but Rhea was in that match to help her look even better. She's, to me, most impressive women's wrestler out there. You all see her toss around Dominik like he was nothing. She's a beast. That's a match that you can. That's a match you can book again, but on the WWE main roster, Shayna Bazer versus Rhea Ripley, and they would ball out, and that would be a huge match. That could be like a 5-hour, 5-star if they were to book it that way. It's just that they can't do it now because they booked Shayna like shit. They need to build her back up as a singles wrestler and have her beat a lot of people with her submission specialty. And I think with Ronda away, you can start that by the revenge factor.
Yeah, no, absolutely. She's the perfect. Her Shotzi. Those are the two perfect people to go and do their thing.
Yeah. Well, let's transition over to the main event of SummerSlam. You have the last match between Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, the last man standing match. We had Roman Reigns defeat Brock Lesnar by the 10 count. We had so much happen in this match to kind of break through. I'll let you start it out, though.
Yeah, man, I'll try not to be too long. It was cool. Brock coming out in the tractor, I was confused by. But when he lifted the ring, I thought that was fucking cool as shit. And then I thought the whole match itself was fun. There was a lot of chaos. When he F5 Paul Heyman, I fucking marked out like crazy. When I saw the Usos show up, I was very disappointed. I'm like, God, can't these two just have a fucking match without these guys? Like, give me a fucking break. I thought Roman had to win, obviously. So I guess having him get beat down by Roman, the Usos, Paul Heyman's involvement is fine. Again, I love the tractor thing. I watched on my local Chicago news this morning, Brock Lesnar, where SummerSlam be talked about because Brock Lesnar lifted the ring with a fucking tractor. So when people talk about Brock Lesnar in mainstream, and what does he do? I just watched WWE on my local Chicago news this morning, and that ain't ever a fucking thing.
How many people do you think bought that tractor after watching SummerSlam?
Some fucking rich farmers who are out there fucking plowing their land, I'm sure. But that's what Brock Lesnar does. The match was good. It was physical. It was hard hitting. I hope I never, ever, ever have to fucking see it again. But for what it was a banger. 10 out of 10, dude. And I loved it. I loved every bit of it.
I liked the beginning of it. I liked how he came out the tractor. And of course, he's a farmer, so it was a good idea to do it. He raised the lift, had himself on it. And then I love the fact how he was like, give me the mic. And then he made the announcer give him the mic. And then he announced himself while on top of it to take a lot of the shine off of Roman Reigns. I thought that was great usage of the tractor there. And then, of course, Roman Reigns got pissed. And I loved how he jumped off the tractor trailer bed to onto Reigns to start the match. They made Brock Lesnar look like $1 million early. He connected on several F5s. He did some suplexes, suplex city. He looked dominant, but then they built the match into a better match. They had Roman Reigns get up every single time at the 8 or 9 mark spot to make him look like a great champion. He's getting out of it. And I was like, oh shit, he keeps on getting out of it. And then I thought to myself, at what point are they going to turn the match? Because Brock Lesnar is going to get tired of just doing move after move. And then they did. He got tired, and then they had Roman Reigns take over. And then as they're both out, of course, but before that, you had him use the tractor trailer to move the ring, mess up the whole ring, and he only got an 8 count out of that. I thought they could have used the tractor a little bit more. I'll get into that in a second. But as they're both out on the outside of the ring, you got, as you see there on the screen, you have, of course, Theory come out with the ref. You think he's going to go cash in, and he beats Roman Reigns in the back with the briefcase. You're like, oh shit, he's going to go to cash in. But no, he gets attacked by Brock Lesnar, F5, and he's basically out of the match the rest of the time. Like, he doesn't even get announced. He's just dead from there on out. I'm like, he's not even going to get up from the F5. These two guys, you got Roman getting up from 5 F5s and get up to the 10 count.
Yo,
by 9.
Didn't he beat him senseless with that briefcase, though? Like, didn't he dent the shit out of it?
Yeah, and I'm just like, geez, they're making Theory look like he's dead. I'm like, there was at least 10 good minutes of the match after that happened. But then you see the match swing, you see the spear, you see the Superman punch on the outside. He keeps getting up. Then you see him get hit by one title, gets up at 9. Then you see Roman Reigns do the other title. I think they did that on purpose. Yeah, you see him hit him with the SmackDown title last. He still gets up, and then you're like, what the fuck? And then you see the Usos come back. They double kick it, sweet chin music him. Then you see them stack up all the stuff on him to keep him from getting up. Then you see, of course, in the next slide here, you see the tribal chief standing on top of him to ensure that it goes to the 10 count. I love the match. The only critique I had was the fact the ref would start the count right away as soon as somebody falls down. There was no 2-3 seconds to breathe before the ref would count 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as you see him fall down after all that stuff, they were already at a 3 count before you see the Usos and Roman Reigns start throwing the stuff on top of him. So it was like he was already at 3, 4, 5 before that happened. I'm like, there's no way he's getting up from this. I wanted to see him at least try and get up, but then to fall down because you see Roman Reigns stand on top of him. But that's me just doing a little bit of critique here. I thought the right man won because, maybe this was Brock Lesnar's last match. The rumors that he stormed off of SmackDown, but then came back after talking to Vince. And then apparently after this went off air, some people told me that were there that the whole crowd gave Brock Lesnar a standing ovation. He went back into the ring tilted up, went to the top point, and then just sat there for a couple of minutes, got an ovation, went to the back. Stephanie, Triple H, and Paul Heyman congratulated him on an awesome match. And it makes you think, maybe this was his last match. Maybe it wasn't. We don't know. But we're definitely not going to see him again until WrestleMania if he does come back.
I hope not. And I mean that in the greatest way, because Cowboy Brock has been awesome. But again, attraction. He's an attraction, baby. So let's bring
Roman with the God mode, Mike Catch, Tribal Cheat Day.
Yes, dude. When Brock threw that mic and Roman just fucking seamlessly put his hand up and caught that shit. Yeah, that was hot. Go check out.
What up, Longer? Welcome to the channel. He said, what's up? Welcome to the channel. If you haven't tuned in, we're on the last match of SummerSlam recap. And then right after, we're going to do the Ric Flair's last match. But if you want to check out the rest, just rewind to this. If you want to wait until we're over, just to start over, check out. We're doing a recap of every match on SummerSlam and give you guys a little bit of feel of how it was. But yeah, this match was great. Like, just like you said, we don't want to see it again because we've seen it so much. But as like the culmination, the conclusion of this rivalry, it was the perfect way to end it. You know, Roman Reigns is there. Brock Lesnar's only a part-time guy, basically. But I loved every bit of this rivalry this last month. Just the way that they ended it on a last man standing. The one thing that I'm getting tired of with Roman Reigns is the constant interference of the Usos. I know it's the bloodline, but it's kind of taken away from his character a little bit. Like, he is a dominant guy, but if he has to have the Usos interfere for him every single pay-per-view, I feel like it's taken away from him as a dominant character itself. I get it, but I'm starting to get tired of it.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you there. I completely understand. He's the heel. That's the role. It's Hulk Hogan in the NWO. You might have been the baddest dude, but you're still going to cheat every possible way. But you're right. If Roman Reigns is wrestling Riddle on SmackDown, he probably shouldn't need the Usos to help him win that match. You know, I get what you're saying for sure.
Everyone in the chat, if you guys are a big fan of Stone Cold Steve Austin, give me a hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Exactly. But of course, this sets up the rivalry now between Reigns and Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre won the match on SmackDown. That's a match that should have been on SummerSlam, not SmackDown. How good of a match that was, that should have been on this card, because the Drew McIntyre and Sheamus balled out on SmackDown to open the program. They had a good 15 to 20 minutes. You had a lot of near falls. And Drew McIntyre came out on here and basically was like, it was like, I'm ready. I don't care who shows up at Cardiff, but he was like, I'm going to get the victory. Of course, he puts up his sword and then counts 3, 2, 1. And of course, the fireworks goes off. He was doing a little bit of build for that match at a Clash at the Castle. Just an early prediction. I think that Roman puts him over. I think he puts him over, and Drew McIntyre wins. I think where the match is going to be, who's in it, and with the rumors that Roman Reigns is going to go away for a month or two to film a video, like a movie, that he has a role in a movie. That's the perfect time, perfect opponent to put over Reigns, because you got Drew McIntyre. He never had that moment winning the title because of the fans not being there at Mania. He's a guy that they shimmied over to SmackDown. And if you think about it, after Mania, they had that feud that they turned into a 3-on-3 match between I think it was him and the Profits versus, I believe it was, I could be wrong, versus the Bloodline. And of course the Bloodline won, but he didn't get pinned. And I could see a situation where with the big time UK crowd, Drew McIntyre is from Scotland, and then right after the pay-per-view, they're going to be doing the European tour in October, where they're going to go back to Glasgow, where he's from, that you could get a big turnout on the live events if Drew McIntyre is there as the champion, because he's a guy that the fans like, and he's gotten into this rut on SmackDown, waiting to get that moment. And I think that the big picture was to have him get the shot in the UK to get the crowd coming to the event because of them having that UK star there in the main event. We got a couple people chiming in. We got the house once again, hell yeah. We got Kevin Stewart saying hell yeah as well. All in all, like right before we transition to the Ric Flair's match, I do want to bring up the fact that, of course, we had Seth Rollins and Matt Riddle make an appearance, as you see right there. Matt Riddle was supposed to be medically unable to compete, but he came out to say that if Randy Orton told me one thing is that you don't take shit, and Seth fucking Rollins needs to come out here because I'm not done with him yet. He goes in there, and I love the beginning where they're he's just standing there. Seth Rollins comes out, and he's like, "You don't want any of this," and then they break into a brawl, which went Seth Rollins' way, where he got of course, the stomp on Riddle, and he stands tall. This is just another way to build up that Clash at the Castle rivalry. They did it for the reason because they want to milk more out of this matchup. They want to build it up because it was kind of like lackluster build a little bit in the month of like July, but that gives them like another month to build it up. And what's the best way to build up a rivalry than to have a guy come back from injury? And that's what they're going to do with Riddle. They're going to have him come back in like a week or two. I wouldn't even be surprised if they saw him tonight. And then even things up. And at the end of the day, this is to put Riddle over even more. You don't have to have Rollins put over. And he's already built to the point where he could lose and then get a title shot. And then for some reason, we could believe it because it's Seth fucking Rollins. So I think I like the usage of it. Like they probably could have done it elsewhere, but they did it here to get the moose out of the two because they were taken off of the card. Yeah, but like I liked how they kind of made it a point to move forward the rivalry, and you're going to have a great match. I think that's going to be one of the best matches at Clash at the Castle. But
and it probably would have been one of the best in-ring matches on this show.
Yeah.
I was totally fine with the show only being 3.5 hours. I thought that was great.
Yes.
It's quick, it's concise, it's compact. Again, I probably could have done without the Pat McAfee match, whether that's replacing that match with Sheamus and Drew, or it's replacing that match with the Seth Rollins match. But I'm not going to nitpick it. 3.5 hours, I'm good with it.
And then I think they wanted to balance out the pay-per-views. They wanted to have a good amount for SummerSlam, but then make sure that they had enough left over for Clash at the Castle. And with this, it allows them to have two matches right away. You got Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns for the title, but then you got Riddle versus Seth Rollins in a grudge match as well. So you're already starting out with two matches with a month worth of build there. So that's a great start to the road to Clash at the Castle.
Yeah, absolutely. Plus, I'm assuming Bianca and Bayley. So let's go, baby.
And of course, the last moments you saw from SummerSlam was Roman Reigns rocking out. And then, of course, this iconic pose of him holding both titles, knowing that he is the tribal chief. He is not the two, but the one. And, of course, with him was the Usos, who are the ones of the tag team division, standing tall, which is what you want to see leaving the show. But let's transition to the last match that we're going to talk about, of course, which is Ric Flair's match. It's a perfect way to end this so we can get out in time for Raw tonight, because it's probably a big Raw. The Raw after Royal Rumble, the first Raw under Triple H. So we're going to make sure we get you guys out in time for that.
We got an hour free tonight, too, baby. Commercial free for an hour.
We do, which is huge. But we had Ric Flair and Andrade El Idolo defeated Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal by pinfall. I know it was a finish submission, but he got him by pinfall. What were your thoughts on this main event?
It was fine, man. Rick bladed like I knew Rick could blade. The match went probably 10 minutes too long. It was fine. Rick was fine. I felt like I was watching an old man with dementia out there, kind of just
it was a lot of slow paced time.
Yeah, it was
to benefit Ric Flair,
which was fine. I mean, it was everything that I thought it would be. I thought it focused a little too much on Karen Jarrett. There was one point of the match I was really concerned where Andrade was trying to hand Rick a pair of brass knuckles, and it looked like Rick was just feeble, and I was like, fuck, dude.
He had to talk him into grabbing them.
Yeah, and then walking up the ramp with the title at the end. But I mean, I is 73. I'm 37. If I could do what he could do at 73, I'm gonna fucking be very happy with myself. So for that, I have to give Ric Flair nothing but hardcore props. He is one of the greatest ever do it, top 3 of all time. He is still swole. He is still fucking limousine riding, whining, and dining, dude. He's got his wife in the crowd. He has family in the crowd. He had Taker at ringside, Bret Hart, Mick Foley, his son-in-law in the ring with him. I mean, the guy wanted to do it up. The guy did it up. Only thing I ask is that this is actually the last match, because the whole thing was a great production. Good shit. Just make it be done, Rick. You did great.
Great production by the Crockett's, who have been always linked to Ric Flair, and then even his son-in-law, Conrad Thompson, helped make this possible. They did a lot of work into building it up. They had a lot of course, wrestlers from not only NWA, but also they had Impact, AEW, New Japan. You named it. They garnered a lot of people from it, and then they even had a lot of people from WWE in the crowd. They had Bret Hart, they had The Undertaker, they had Mick Foley, they had Ric Flair's family there. They had Tony Schiavone on commentary with I think David Crockett, and then they kept on bringing in and out commentators from whoever's match, promotion the match was from, you had you had Tom Phillips. I like to call him that. Because I can't say hand right
Hanahan or whatever. Yeah.
You had hand there. You had was the guy from Ring of Honor? What's his name?
Ribonacci.
Whatever his name is. I always say his name wrong with the glass. With glasses, and he was there. They had a nice pace to the whole card itself, but one thing I was shocked at is how good Jeff Jarrett can still be at that age.
I'm an asshole for not commenting on that. He looked fucking great, dude.
And yes, the pace of the match, he acted like a perfect heel. He looks like he could still do it. He would go out of the match, act like he's leaving, come back, and then it was just he got all the heat on him, which was on purpose, and so people could believe the ending of it. But then not only that, but just the moves that he was able to do. He was in the ring with both Ric Flair and Andrade. And then I loved how he took the brass knuckle punch. He made it look like $1 million. He made it look like he got hit really hard from Ric Flair, even though you could tell Ric Flair barely got the punch off. You could he sold it like no other. And at the age that he's at, I'm like, damn, is he in line for one more chance in the WWE? Could you see him in the Royal Rumble and have a decent match in there, but then of course get thrown out? Could you see him wrestle at WrestleMania one last time? The possibilities are there just because of that match, because he did such a great job. Jay Lethal was there because he knows Ric Flair, so he put on the match. You had a lot of fast-paced moments when it was him and Andrade El Idolo in the match. He kind of tried to carry it for those fast-paced moments, but then when Ric Flair was in it, that's why we saw the slow-paced 5 minutes in between punches, and then Jeff Jarrett going outside, coming back, going outside and coming back, because he didn't want the moment to be on him. It was fine with Jay Lethal taking the moment, but he didn't want Ric Flair to do anything to him. And then that's how the ending happened. He finally, you had Andrade get the brass knuckles from Conrad Thompson, which was great. Son-in-law to son-in-law. You got him to put him in Ric Flair's hands after doing a big move. It took it a little bit of time to transition to that. But then you had Ric Flair punch Jeff Jarrett with the knuckles and then to put him into the figure 4 leg lock and get the 1, 2, 3. I thought they did that a little too fast, but I know why, because the match went a little bit over and they just wanted to get the match done with. So they did the quick 3 count. They got the victory, and Ric Flair goes off into the sunset with the win with his family there. He looked out of it. I thought he looked like he was like a zombie, but apparently he was fine after a little bit. You could tell that towards the end when the other wrestlers were trying to hand him the title belt that he was out of it. But apparently he got checked out at the end in the backstage, and all the medical people said that he was fine. It was just him being tired and out of it because, of course, he's 73 years old, as you expect. And I loved how he was like, I'm ready to go to Kid Rock's place and party. I thought that was funny. Like, he went to everybody, hugged them, everybody that was there. Like, he had that nice 30-second talk with Undertaker. I can only imagine what the Undertaker said to him. I thought that was cool because I even said it to you when we were watching it. I was like, if you're watching all the reactions, Undertaker stayed stone-faced, like with no emotion during the match. And maybe he did that just to add to his character just because of the match. But I was like, I loved that. I was like, damn, everybody's showing emotion and he's not. But then he broke that afterwards, and then you see him talking to him for 30 seconds. Yeah. I thought that was a good touch. He kind of rode off into the sunset with his family. If this is the last time you see him in the ring, perfect. He gets that moment. They made a lot of money giving back to the Crockett's and to his son-in-law, Conrad Thompson, and now he can just enjoy his life now.
Yeah, man, I hope so. It was much better than I thought it was going to be. I'm glad I watched it. I mean, I didn't think he was going to die in the ring like everyone said. Yeah. He's out there training. If you watch his Instagram, his Twitter, dude's doing push-ups. He's fucking curling. I'm guaranteed he can probably curl more than I could curl, dude. As sad as that fucking sounds, man. I mean, the guy is in phenomenal shape for his age, so it is what it is. And he did his best Ric Flair blade job out there. I enjoyed the match. I really did. I enjoyed it. I was wooing the whole time, dude. When he won, I was woo! Like when he came out, like with the belt and the robe, and I was just woo! Like I had the goosebumps. I was feeling good, man.
And it was funny because towards the whole undercard, like I was trying to put my son to sleep. My son's 2.5, and he kept sneaking back out. And then towards the end, I was just like, "Fuck it, yeah, I'm just gonna let him sit on the couch and then get tired." But he sat there through the whole match, and I felt like it was a cool moment, like in the watch. Ric Flair's matchup. Yeah. I know my son had no idea what was going on. He was just watching it, but I'm like, that was a cool moment for me watching it with him because he actually sat there and watched it and just didn't say anything. I was like, okay, I can gel with this. And I enjoyed it. I was just like, I know it's not going to be $1 million, but I'm just going to enjoy the moment of watching his last match. And it definitely had a good parts in the matchup, and he didn't die like a lot of people were thinking. So that was a plus. So it's just able to get to watch his last match was great, and I enjoyed it for what it was.
Awesome. Good shit, man.
Yeah. We got a couple of comments in here before we wrap things up. We have Chris Brooks. I'm with Underground Temple having a few beers as England's women won the Euro. Hope you're both
Congrats.
Well. Congrats for that. I know they had a tough matchup. I believe they played Germany, if I'm correct. And glad you get to have that winning pint and during that the win there.
I know they've been fighting for the men for a while.
He says Underground Temple wants to see fantasy booking ideas. Survivor Series 2022 main roster's first ever War Games. Bailey, Io, Dakota, Candice LeRae versus Becky Lynch, Asuka, Bianca Belair, and Tegan Knox. There's a lot of potential there for people to return. Like we're talking
I'd probably take Becky off solely because she's got her shoulder right now, and I'd put surprise Sasha and Naomi on there.
Yeah, that's a good thing there. But like on the network, we'll be talking about like a lot of these news in the weeks moving forward. I know we want to get out of here because we got Raw starting up in 10 minutes. I just would like to thank TK for coming on to do a recap of SummerSlam 2022 with me, and then to talk about this Ric Flair's last match. We're going to be doing a lot more of this on Cage My IQ as well as the house. Like after doing the stream last Wednesday and then having this hot new intro that I have, it's infused me into wanting to do a lot more wrestling talk on the channel, which is why I did the intro where I had half MMA and half wrestling, because I want to do a little bit of both. And not just MMA. I want to cater to a lot of the wrestling talk. Like whenever we do the podcast with the of course with the crew, like I enjoy every minute of it with just the talk, and it's garnered me to want to do more of these as well. We got of course Nick, wrap it up, Dan. I am,
I don't know what
I'm
I don't know what
sucker.
that means.
He said Phoenix Tourist Bandito Laredo Kid match of the fucking match, Chiefs kiss, and then he said match of the night. But other than that, I'll let you give a last words before we wrap things up.
Yeah, man, I'm pumped to see what you're doing, talking more wrestling. I'll be glad to join you in the future on here, Cage My IQ, on the house with Mo. Love talking wrestling with our League of Extraordinary Wrestling Idiots for sure. You can catch me talking more wrestling on the Wrestling Index podcast, found solely now on FloorSlapperSports.com. That YouTube will be Floor Slapper Sports as well. Talking a lot of fantasy sports, real sports, and of course wrestling, baby. So check out FloorSlapperSports.com, and I will definitely be here as much as I can talking wrestling with my guy.
Yeah, and within the weeks, we're going to be doing our, of course, news streams where we just talk about some of the biggest topics in wrestling for the week. But just to hype things up, at some point the end of the month, we're going to be doing the Clash at the Castle preview. We're going to break down the match card and give up what we think are going to happen. And then we might even do, just like this, a recap of it as well. So expect more wrestling content on Cage My IQ. But other than that, that'll wrap things up. I am Cage. This is my co-host for the night, TK from the Wrestling Index. You guys have a wonderful rest of your night. Enjoy WWE Raw. Check it out. I expect a lot of big things to happen on the card tonight. And we will see you guys next time on Cage My IQ. Thanks for tuning in.